ജേക്കബ് സാർ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലേ? സാർ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്.
ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് സർ.
മ്യൂട്ടാണോ?
Jaydevan sir, welcome sir.
Yes, good morning.
Good
Can
morning.
you hear me?
Yes sir, yes sir. Sure.
Yes, great, thank you.
Jaydevan sir, good morning sir.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm good sir, I'm good.
Okay.
Uh, Hello, sir.
Yes.
We can start in 5 minutes. We
Sure.
can wait for 5 more minutes if people are joining or not. We are also
Fine.
streaming in
Okay.
YouTube, so there are some people also.
Okay, fine. No problem.
Yeah.
Let me know when we are going to start.
Yeah, sure. Good morning, all. Shall we start?
For me, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Before start, let me just introduce our stats club and Dr. Jaydevan Sridharan. Myself, Mahesh. Actually, the whole world is celebrating World Statistics Day. This is the third World Statistics Day. It is celebrated around the globe on 20 October 2020 with a theme connecting the world with data we can trust. this theme reflects on the importance of trust, alternative data innovation, and public goods in national statistical system. On this occasion, our Stats Club is organizing various activities to celebrate this important day. We are planning a 3-day program, starting from today and ending on 20th October. Today we have a talk by Dr. Jaydevan Sridharan and a panel discussion after this. Tomorrow we have a quiz competition for UG and PG students. And day after tomorrow we have 2 talks. Let me introduce our Stats Club also. Our Stats Club is a hub for statistic enthusiasts. A statistic is one kind of branch that cut across all our branches of knowledge. The idea for a common analytical platform to discuss statistics and related problem was within each of us for a very long time. So we gathered under one name, our Stats Club. The main purpose of this platform is to utilize the expertise from the experience and ignite the young mind with statistics knowledge in all means. Today, the first day of our Stats Club World Statistics Day celebration, we have an invited speaker, Dr. Jayadevan Sridharan. He is presenting his speak on COVID-19. Don't panic, be aware, a statistical prescriptive. Professor Jayadevan Sridharan, he is Professor of Epidemiology and Biostatistics, Gulf Medical University, Ajman. He has done his BSc and MSc and PhD in statistics from India. And he also done his PhD in epidemiology. And he is currently he is doing his most of the research in epidemiology. And his area of interest epidemiology of non-communicable diseases, statistical modeling, medical education, tobacco use, etc. I invite Dr. Jayadevan Sridharan to start his presentation. Sir, please.
Thank you, Ms. Mahesh. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I'll share my screen first. Is my screen visible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, now it's
Okay,
visible.
fine. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you to Ms. Mahesh for this opportunity. And as Ms. Mahesh said, my topic of presentation is about COVID-19. Don't panic, be aware, a statistical perspective. When Mahesh was asking for this lecture or webinar, I was wondering what I will take, because he said it's a mixed population. It's not all statistical experts. So maybe a general topic may be better than this one. Then with regard to the statistical day, as Mahesh said, its theme is connecting the world with the data we can trust. So I thought it's a good idea to discuss about the current pandemic, COVID-19, how statisticians can help this type of situation, whether statisticians, any role is there with respect to the pandemic situation or the disease situation, or statistics is only for the other purpose. First of all, wishes to this opportunity, World Statistics Day, and wishes from Gulf Medical University. as Mahesh said, I'm working as a professor of epidemiology and biostatistics at Gulf Medical University, Ajman, United Arab Emirates. As you know, it's the World Statistics Day started as a decision by United Nations Statistical Commission decided that 20th October is celebrated as a World Statistics Day. Now, in this this small introduction, I'm going to go for my topic of interest is coronavirus. I can tell one thing. You can interact in between as well. You are not only the listeners; you can interact as well, so that if any discussion also we can proceed with that as well. Okay, so coronavirus. First of all, the COVID-19. We heard a lot about COVID-19. This coronavirus is not really the new things. There are many families. So the coronavirus actually is a family of diseases. So you see, statisticians have a lot of role in health aspect with regard to disease and disease prevention as well. Okay, it's actually a large family of virus which can cause different type of illness, which varies from maybe the common cold or severe acute respiratory symptoms. About the SARS or Middle East respiratory symptom. What we see is MERS, and the latest one what you can see is the COVID-19. So any disease, if you take any disease, whether it is communicable or non-communicable, so which are the aspect very much important is the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. So most of the time, what we say, prevention is better than cure. So we should go for the preventive aspect. So I said this is true for the communicable as well as non-communicable disease. Now I'm going to specify the importance of communicable diseases. Till then, we are discussing about many aspects about the non-communicable disease, because around the world actually non-communicable diseases are more compared to communicable disease because of the developments. Many developing countries, what is the communicable diseases were more compared to the non-communicable diseases were more compared to communicable disease. Then the many developed countries have a notion that the non-communicable diseases are not going to happen in many high-income countries. So their concentration is actually for non-communicable diseases. But when Corona came, what happened? It's changed the situation. That is the first is affected, is in Italy. How it affected also, why the Italy that much the difficulties happened, that we'll discuss later. So what I'm trying to say, the important thing is prevention. So with regard to the prevention, statistics can play a better role, a vital role statistics can play. How it is? You usually hear about a lot of diseases and its risk factors. How we can to identify which are the factors which is relative, which are causing, which are associated with the disease. That's actually, we know the disease. That is what we can say is the natural history of disease. If we know the natural history of disease, then it's possible to go for a preventive aspect. So if that is not possible, then we go for the diagnosis. Diagnosis also, we can say two ways of diagnosis. One is what is called early diagnosis. If you do any disease, if you identify, if you diagnose early, the possibility of the cure rate will be more. And if you diagnose the late stage, the cure rate will be less, or the cure rate you can see with some disability as well. So later only we'll think about the treatment aspect. Now, so what is statisticians' role in epidemic? This World Statistics Day, the topic is the theme is actually data we can trust. What is actually trust? After this COVID-19, you maybe in your WhatsApp or other social media, you can see a lot of models. That models usually try to predict when the infection is going to decline. But many models failed. Many models failed. Why that is happening? That's because of the trust of the data. If the data is data, we cannot trust on the data, we cannot predict these things accurately. That usually statisticians look into this aspect, whether the data is trust enough to go for estimating or forecasting the events. Now, how it is possible? How it is possible? Nowadays also, recently I heard from Kerala also. Kerala, the cases reached to 10,000, and later it's next day it was 5,000, and then it's 6,000, and so it's going like this. Then there was a perception that the cases are declining. Is it declining actually? No. Usually in statistics, what we say, we have to see the trend, how it is going. The trend is not in the proper way. What we say is it's a secular trend, it's not the real statistical trend. In that situation, we cannot say that cases are declining or not. So what we need there, we need a proper statistician can look into the data and say, this situation is not possible to say whether the cases are declining or we are in the same position. So what I'm trying to say, statistician has a role there. So why? So then I said why? Because most of the time the statisticians are not playing in the proper vital role. That is why others are coming there and playing the role. So we have to take an initiation to treat with the data and to go for the make the data in the trusty way and reach some proper conclusion. Whenever. So this is one of the situations what you can say this pandemic is one of the situations. So many situations are coming. So we know that right now we are concentrating only on this pandemic COVID-19, but many other diseases are happening in the Kerala or around the world as well. We are not giving that much importance to the other disease because this we are considering that is more important than the other disease. So whenever the diseases is there, whatever situation, so statistician role is there to see what type of data is there. The diseases are increasing or diseases are decreasing, which diseases we have to give more importance. All this actually the statistician's role, which means any situation in the health data, especially this type of a pandemic, we have to work and see. We have to make sure that make the population aware that this is not this pandemic is not not about the worry situation. So we have to aware about the situation, how we can prevent the disease. Now, this this one, as you know already, this what are the way of the transmission of the disease. Actually, that's why we are wearing that mask. The appropriate way what you can say is the person to person through contact or the droplets through the droplet the disease is transmitting. So I don't want to say more about this thing because all in social media or TV or newspapers, this news is this the preventive aspect and the mode of transmission is every day you are hearing these things. So here now come to the situation of COVID-19. So most of the time, the infections what you can see is a mild infection. So usually there are different type of infections are there. Mild infection, maybe moderate type of infection, and severe infection. So this the COVID-19 is concerned. Most of the infections, what you can see is the mild infection. So this started in 2019 and December. So what are the method of prevention? Wear mask, social distancing, use of glove, other draconian measures. Okay, so then here I want to say a little bit about the other draconian measures, whether these draconian measures are whether they're essential or not. So when you think about the transmission, already we discussed about the transmission is through the contact or the droplet. So whether these the other draconian measures like the wearing PPE, personal protective equipment, all these things is essential. So for me, I may say no. The most important thing is you should wear the mask in the proper way. So because the two important aspects, through mouth or through nose, the virus can enter and can cause the disease as well. So the most important thing I may say it's actually wear a mask. Now coming to this type of the communicable diseases, two aspects are very much important. The first one is what is called infectivity, and the second one is what is called virulence. What is infectivity? So it's the ability of the infectious agent to multiply the host. It's spreading the disease. The spread of the disease, what you can say is the infectivity. Then the next one is what is called virulence. The virulence actually the killing power of the disease, killing power. How much, for example, many times you hear about the case fatality rate is very less in Kerala and some places it's comparatively high. But coming to this disease, the virulence is very less. We'll see how the virulence is less also, we'll see that one in detail. Now, coming to the data, so always, we should get the fact, not the fake. Many times you can see through WhatsApp also many fake data. We are forwarding many fake data. So that's not right in this pandemic situation. So which will actually increase the chance of disease. So we will go for how the trust data, the fact data is preventing the disease. We'll see now. Now I'll go for the real data. What is happening around the world? This data, this is a little old one, but is what see here. So I divide this into the whole world into 4 regions: the low-income region, lower middle-income region, middle-income country, and high-income countries. You can see here what is CFR. CFR is actually the case fatality rate. I already said the case fatality rate is actually measuring the virulence of a disease. Virulence, I said, is the killing power of the disease. How to calculate case fatality? So case fatality is number of death divided by total number of disease into 100. You can multiply, you will get in percentage. Otherwise, you will get in 1,000 or something as well. Here, what you can see a trend. You can see here. What trend you can see? So the disease is the case fatality is increasing from low-income country to high-income countries. So, anyone have any comment on this particular data? Any comment on this particular data? Second comment, please. You can see this trend. What do you think about this trend? Is it a real trend or something because of something else? What lower income country, case fatality is less, 2.8. Lower and middle income countries, little high, 3.7. Middle income countries, 4.3. And high income countries, 5. So this I pooled all countries together. So this may be one of the reasons why most of the high income countries, age is a factor. So coming to the age, if the higher age, the older age people are there in a community, what will happen actually? Many comorbidities will be there. Many non-communicable diseases will be there. Many non-communicable diseases will be there. These non-communicable diseases may cause the severity of the disease. 1 minute, hold on, please. I'll call you. Hello? Sorry. Okay, so in many high-income countries, the old age people, the population will be more compared to the low-income countries. So what will happen actually? The age is more, the death chance will be there. Chances are there otherwise also. The infection is not there also, the chances of death will be there. So that may also cause the fatality. But actually what is happening, a person is affected with corona, we are counting that as only coronavirus. So the death is only because of the coronavirus. Now, to trust the data, what we should do, we should see what was the previous year picture about the death, the case, cause-specific mortality, and what is actually this year or 2020 cause-specific mortality and the previous year cause-specific mortality. Maybe you'll see, I don't know, the data is not available. Maybe you'll see the difference. The cardiovascular disease mortality will be less in 2020 compared to 2019 because that also is counting in the coronavirus infection death. So what is happening? Actually, the old age population is there, the chance for death is there. We are counting that death also because of this coronavirus. Otherwise, also death possibilities are there. So what we see, that normality is already there. The previous year and this year, too much difference we are not expecting. That no need to explain about that lower and upper the confidence interval. Many statistics people are here, they know about the confidence interval. Now, so what I'm going to say here, so already I mentioned about the 4 of the low income, low, middle and middle income and high income countries. I'm going to say something about the data around the world Then I will say something about India, and then I will go to the Kerala as well. First of all, I have taken 174 countries around the world. You can see here, what I observed is the attack rate, how many percent affected with the disease. You can see the attack rate per thousand in 48 countries. This is as per the data on 15th of October, the latest one. And the 48 countries, the attack rate is less than 1. And the 19 countries, what you can see, the attack rate is more than 20. Now, why I said this one, we'll see the next slide and then we'll discuss more about that as well. Here, what you can see, the CFR percentage, that is case fatality rate versus test per 100,000 population. Always in all TV discussions and other discussions, you can see they always mentioned about the test per 100,000 population. In Kerala, the test rate is less compared to the Goa, compared to Delhi. So many discussions you can hear. Here, I want to say one thing. You can see what I did was the test per 100,000 population, I divided into 3 ways. You can see the countries where they did less than 100 tests per 100,000 population, and the countries where they did 100 to 500 tests per 100,000 population, and more than 500 the tests per 100,000 population. What you can see here, those who did more than 500 tests per 100,000 population, you can see the less than 1 is less than 1. Case fatality is 45.5% of the countries, and in the other one is 20.6, and this 25. So you can see a small increase you can see here. But is this a real increase? Not actually. You can see the number. So the number is less. The total number of countries where more than 500 is only 11 compared to 107 here and 56 here. So this percentage, this alone, we cannot trust on this. You can say that. We cannot conclude something like that. So you see this one, I'll go to the 5 to 10 case fatality rate. 5 to 10 case fatality rate, what you can see here is, the countries that are less than 100, it is a 6.5, and 100 to 500, it is 8.9, and more than 500 is 18.2. So we cannot see much difference in the countries where they did a lot of tests per 100,000 population and less tests per 100,000 population. So is it really worth to go for the test per more tests in the community? So we have to think about that. So in that situation, I would like to say one more thing. Always, if we go for the diagnostic part, it should be accurate. We should get an accurate result. If we are not getting the accurate result, then we cannot trust on that diagnosis as well. So what do you mean by accuracy? Accuracy means a person is affected with disease, the test is diagnosed with the disease means what you can say is a good only. The accuracy is there. Similarly, a person is not with the disease and test is diagnosed with the no disease, then what you can say is accuracy again. So 2 ways accuracy is there: positive with the positive and negative with the negative. In statistics, what you can say is actually the sensitivity and specificity of the test. You may hear a lot about the TV discussion about the sensitivity and specificity. During that rapid test, you know about the quick test of the rapid test, they mention a lot about the sensitivity and specificity. The sensitivity and specificity of the rapid test was very less. And if you go for a test like rapid test and the sensitivity and specificity are less, what will actually happen? Actually, you think about a test with the low sensitivity. So I said already, sensitivity means what? Is the ability of a test to identify, to diagnose positive as positive, and specificity is the ability of a test to diagnose negative as negative. If test with the less sensitivity, what will happen? All positive, it will not diagnose as positive. And the less specificity, what happen? All negative, the test will not diagnose it negative as well. So a person is with the disease. Assume that the situation, a person is with the disease, and the person is with the disease, and he or she has gone for the test procedure, and test shows it's negative. Test shows is negative. So what will happen actually? The person, if we are giving a false information that the person is negative. The person will go to the community. Ultimately, what happened? The spread possibilities are there, right? Because of the sensitivity that the accuracy of the test is not there. Accuracy is not there. These possibilities are there, right? So similarly, the other way as well. The person is without disease, and the test is diagnosed as the person is with the disease. Again, the person who is detected with the disease, the mental stress will be there. Again, is causing pathology. So what we need all the places, not only in the data, the diagnosis or the test should be there. The accuracy should be there. If it is not there, then we cannot trust on the result, and ultimately the data also we cannot trust. So that's why these you can see the same aspect I published recently in International Journal of Community Medicine and Public Health with regard to what will happen if the sensitivity and specificity of the test is not proper sensitivity is not there. Now, so I'll go for the other one again. This one, what you can see is not 1,000, is 100,000. Test per 100,000 population. You can see here, and this is actually total attack rate. So what you can see, there is no trend actually. It's going irregular rates. So actually, there is no relationship between the test and the total number of attack rate. Then, is it possible to do the test in the entire population? It's never possible. If it's possible also, you are testing, a person is going for a test today, what is the chance for the positive tomorrow? Chances are still there. So every day, all population in that particular location is possible to test, never possible. So only thing we can do is those who are in the higher risk, those who are what do you mean by higher risk? Those who have more contact, or those who have as I said, age more than this thing. So this type of problem thing maybe we can think about, but the entire test is not possible. If you do the test also, it's not worth it to do the test and see to reduce the attack rate or increase the attack rate. So here what you can see, this is with respect to the test per 100,000, the maximum 100 tests, the countries where they conducted maximum 100 tests. And the next figure, what you can see is 100 to 500 tests. Here also you can see the irregular figure you can see here. And what happened, the 500 and more, again, thing is same only. So here also, what I'm trying to say, the test per 100,000 and the total case, the attack rate, there's actually no relationship between the two. Now, so this is the other thing what I already discussed about. So what we do, we have to think about the population where those with the risk factors are there. So many risk factors are there, many studies are there with respect to chronic kidney disease, older age, obesity, diabetes mellitus, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, blood pressure, liver disease, pregnancy. All these things actually some type of risk is there with these type of diseases and the mortality. Now we'll see. So as a statistician, always we should think about the three aspects: the absolute number, the rate, and the standardized rate. So many times you can see many used to discuss about only with the absolute number. Is it possible to make any conclusion using an absolute number? It's never possible. Why? Because the denominator is always important. Denominator is important. If you are not considered the denominator and you are making some conclusions actually wrong. So statisticians should give the proper guidance at this type of situation. Then the rate. So even rate also what we do, so as I said, we are considering the denominator. So numerator is there, denominator is there. So what you will get some conclusions are possible. And again, is it possible to make the ultimate conclusion? Is not possible. Why? We have to go for standardization. What is standardization? I already mentioned about the Italy situation. Italy, you are comparing the rate of the case fatality rate of Italy and you are comparing the case fatality rate of Tanzania. The population in the old age population, for example, those who are above the age of 60 years in Italy may be 20% and Tanzania may be 1%. Is it possible to compare these two countries? So again, what we need, we have to standardize that rate. Standardization in the sense, we should make sure that the population of Italy and the population of Tanzania are saying what will happen. That we can say the standardization. So wherever you want to compare, is not a good idea to go for the absolute number. Is even not a good idea to go for the rate. But what you should do, you should go for the standardization of rate. With the standardization, what you can say, this place is the number of the diseases are more compared to the other place. Till then, it's not possible to say. The standardization is concerned, not only standardization with respect to age, with respect to other diseases. So Tanzania, if you take, for example, I'm mentioning one country as an example. The Tanzania, if you take, the old age people are less. So old age people are less, what happened? The chance for the other non-communicable diseases are less. Usually what we consider, many of the non-communicable diseases are in old age population more compared to the young age population. So I think you know about the non-communicable diseases. The non-communicable diseases are the disease which is not transmitting from one person to the other person, like cardiovascular disease, obesity, diabetes mellitus, hypertension. All these things, what you can say, is the non-communicable diseases. Now you can see. So I mentioned about the whole world what is happening. Now we'll go for the Indian situation. You can see here. I'm considering here. I'm taking only rate here. My assumption is that the around the country, all state, the population and the age distribution and the other comorbid conditions are same, assuming like that. You can see here the case fatality rate is very less. You can see it is 0.3 in Arunachal Pradesh, and our Kerala is concerned, it is 0.5. So what does it mean? 0.5 means if the 200% affected with the disease, one death possibilities are there. One death possibility, that is 0.5. So it ranges from, it goes like this, and you can see the maximum what you can see is in Punjab, that is 3.44, right? So there, around 3 to 4 deaths you can expect in 100 population, 100 affected people, 100 attack. Those who 100 attack is there, we can expect around 3 to 4 deaths. Now, you can see here the Goa, see, attack rate is very high, 23 per 100,000 population. Sorry, 1,000 population, but the case fatality is 1.49. So in Delhi, you can see Delhi and the Puducherry, you can see 17 and 24. Still, it is around 2. So that is the reason why what I said. So no need for the panic. The panic situation is not there. The case fatality is very less compared to many other diseases. So if you take about, I mentioned about MERS and SARS. Is actually is another type of coronavirus. That diseases, the case fatality is very high. You can see in Saudi Arabia, maybe 2-3 years back, that the MERS virus infections were there. The death rate was around, the case fatality was around 25 or 30%. So if 100 affected with the disease, 25 to 30 deaths are reported. So what happened? If we compare to this one, the virulence of the disease, I said that initially I said about 2 aspects, the infectivity and virulence. So virulence of the disease is less here, less in this particular disease compared to the other one. Okay, now I'll say a little bit about Kerala as well, some aspect about Kerala as well. That is, you can see this, I divide the Kerala situation into 2. So from 8th March to 3rd May is the phase 1. And there's no phase 1, phase 2, but I have divided that to phase 1 and phase 2 because it may be almost that the trend shows it was reducing, later again start increasing. So it started with the 3 diseases, and here you can see bi-weekly increase. From here is increasing, then as the cases are from previous year is decreasing, is going like this. You can see here the daily incidents and the cases are recovered. You can see this is actually the red line is the cases and the other one is recovery. So you can see after from this particular point, you can see the number of recoveries are more compared to number of the infection. So what happened means that cases are decreasing. The overall, the cumulative cases are decreasing during the phase 1. Here actually, the active cases you can see here, again, you can see the 5th May, the active cases are very less. You can see something like a normal distribution here is going like this, is a peak is there and start reducing, and in May, around the 5th is almost reaching that. Then again, what happened? The phase 2. So that's why I said phase 2, that again cases increasing again. It's going like this. This data is based on the 6th September 2020. The cases are increasing. You can see here, this again the confirmed cases and recovery. I'm sorry. from 4th May to 4th September, you can see the cases are increasing. But one important thing is what you can note here is the recoveries are also increasing. The number of cases are increasing. The recovery is also there, which means what? The virulence of the disease is less. But what is increasing? The infectivity is increasing. Infectivity is there, but virulence of the disease is less. So which means what? No need for the panic disease. So if we are aware about the spread of the disease, what we can do? We can take proper preventive aspect, and thus we can prevent or reduce the burden of the disease. Right now, what is happening in Kerala, the feeling that the diseases are reducing or the disease will not affect me, that type of thinking is there. That's why what they do, they go in all places without proper mask, or they are not wearing the mask, or they are not taking the protection against the washing hand or the sanitization. These things are they are not maintaining these things. That may be one of the reasons why the cases are increasing. You can see here, this is from 4th May to 6th September, how the active cases are increasing. See here, active cases are still increasing only. We are still not reached the peak. After peak only will come down, then it will go like a normal distribution. Now see here, this is actually epidemic pattern. So how the disease is increasing. So here also you can see it's a secular trend. There's a proper trend is not there. No proper trend with respect to the total number of diseases. So the trend is not there. So it is not possible to make a proper conclusion using this particular data. So for example, you cannot say in November the diseases are going to reduce, or in December or January that it will be zero. Is not possible to say right now using any statistical modeling. Now coming to the last part of my talk. Is, usually we, with respect to the disease, what we do, we have to calculate the R naught, and see if the R naught is less than 1. What you can say, R naught is less than 1 means the case is decreasing, and if it is more than 1, what you can say, the cases are growing. So R naught is the one which is deciding whether the cases are increasing or not. For example, if you say R naught is equal to 3 means what? Each person is expected to infect 3%. On an average, 3% each person can transmit the disease. That's what we say about the spread of the disease. So ultimately, what I want to say here is the situation is not that panic. It's a pandemic only. So there's a different terms are there: epidemic, pandemic, endemic, so many things. So this pandemic situation, if we take care, each person in the community take care of ourselves, what we can do, we can prevent the disease. That's one of the aspects I want to say. Second one is what is called the data. Right now, the data is not sufficient. Data is not there to make a conclusion about when the disease is going to down, because the trend is not there. And the third one, what I want to say is, before making any conclusion about the two different places, we should think about the data, whether the data is appropriate to compare two different situations, whether the population in these two places, two countries or two states is comparable or not. So these things are possible only with the statisticians only. Statisticians can only do this particular aspect. Now, I have a link here. This link, if you click, this is one of the course developed by our country, our university. If you click, it will go to that site, and you can see, about you can get a certificate as well. How to. I'm not going to show the full aspect, but you can see a little bit about this. Okay, this is one of the link I provided this one. Okay, anyways, I'm not going to discuss about that aspect, but if somebody interested to take that course, you can go that as well. Okay, thank you so much. So I don't want to take that whole lecture, but actually I want to have some discussions here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful lesson. Anyone has any question? If you have any questions, please shoot up.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Myself, Sri Ranganath.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
as you pointed out, the number of cases and shows the trend, right? So, in Kerala, also different types of tests are being conducted. So, depending on the test, also these numbers and the charts may differ, right? Particular to a test, the chart can show a trend, or particular to another test, there may be some inherent pattern, or can we get some knowledge by doing that? Do you think anything?
So right now I think in Kerala the rapid test is not there. They're doing only PCR, I think. The rapid test, the PCR, the sensitivity says, the many literature says the sensitivity is 95% and the specificity is around 85 to 90%. The different studies is different. But now in Kerala, the rapid test is not there. Rapid test, the sensitivity was very less. It was around 65%. So the data from the Kerala right now is based on the test with the PCR, I think. So the good sensitivity is there.
Okay, sir.
Yes, please. Don't think it's a lecture. We'll discuss something. That's important. Hello? It's not clear. I'm sorry.
Hello, Suganya. Suganya, it was not clear.
Hello?
It is some connectivity issue.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you have any connectivity issue, please mention in chat. Please post your questions in chat itself.
Dr. Jayadevan, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Sri Devi. I work in the clinical trials domain. So I had a question. In epidemiology, there would be some, research methodology associated with studying such pandemics. Is there something like that? Is there any theory behind it? Like how should we approach for any study related to pandemics? And if so,
okay.
One more thing. In addition to that, how applicable is it to the COVID scenario? Is another
okay. Very good. In epidemiology, if it is the communicable or non-communicable disease, the main aspect of epidemiology is three things. One is the distribution, second one is the determinants, and the third one is its application. These are the three aspects of epidemiology. First of all, what all things we discuss is about the distribution. Where the diseases are actually affecting, which population is affecting. So then what is possible? So if we know about the distribution and determinants, and then only the third aspect is possible as application of these things. So we have to find how it is, where it is affecting, with respect to the distribution, what you can say, with respect to people, with respect to place, with respect to time. So three aspects we can say: when, where, who. So these three aspects you have to answer for that epidemiology first aspect. That is why we know right now where we have, when we have, but who, with respect to who, most of the studies are not, the aspects are not available with the available literature. But some studies say is mostly affect the adult population, adult in the sense the older population. Some studies say death is happening more among the comorbidity situations. We are also doing a study, maybe our publication also going to come with respect to the comorbid condition and how it is affecting the COVID thing. So the epidemiology, this is first. And second one, we have to know which are the comorbidities causing the disease. Then what we can see, we can take draconian measures with respect to that population. For example, our study from epidemiological study revealed that the more death is among those with cardiovascular disease. So then what we can do, we have to take more precautions for that cardiovascular disease patient. So that is possible only through epidemiological aspect. Then the one question you asked is this, I think. The second question what you asked is how we can do in this pandemic situation. So actually, epidemiology actually started with the epidemics only. This pandemic also is an epidemic. Why it is pandemic? Because epidemic is for a small area, and if it's affecting the large area, what we say is the pandemic. So the epidemiology has actually started with we want to find the source of infection. Maybe there are different type of source of infections are there. Single source infection and multiple source infection. Here, actually, it is multiple source infection. So single source infection is easy to prevent. The multiple source infection, what we have to do, we have to take appropriate measures. Otherwise, it's difficult to go for the prevention, because one person we can quarantine, 2 person we can do, but so many other means it's difficult to do that as well. So that is why, the aspect of reverse quarantine came. You know about the reverse quarantine. Reverse quarantine, because of the high risk people, those who are the high risk, we have to take appropriate measure to quarantine them. So here also the message conveyed is that the statisticians or the epidemiology actually is work with the statistics only. With that level, we can make some aspect with respect to the prevention of the disease, if it is communicable or not communicable. Hope I answer your question. If it is not clear, you can mention which aspect is not clear.
Yeah, that was very clear, sir. Thank you. One more question: like, has it, has this trend? Trend improved opportunities for statisticians in epidemiology? I mean, when we talk about the clinical research area, like when we say, we always say that the drug development area is the least affected because of this epidemiology, because it has created more scope of more research and more studies. Okay. So
yes,
yeah. So from in the area of epidemiology, what is the scope of opportunities from research perspective or job perspective that has grown because of this pandemic?
Okay, very good. There are a lot of opportunities for statisticians. Our problem, what I feel, especially in Kerala, I can see we are actually more on the theoretical aspect. We should come out of the theoretical and we have to go for some practical aspect as well. So how we can apply? We learned a lot of the theoretical aspect. How we can apply in the field? See, this if a appropriate statistical method we used here, we can do a lot of research with respect to the pandemic situation. So right now, as I said, the literature is not available because the data, how to deal with the data, again some difficulties are there. So if you come to the close to the stage and see close to this aspect and see which way, because we know about the theoretical aspect, what theory we can use here and which way we can contribute to the elimination. I cannot say elimination. So control of the disease. Then a lot of opportunities are there. Not only in this pandemic situation, otherwise also you can see a lot of the medical statisticians opportunities are there. Medical statistician should learn about epidemiology as well. The opportunities comes a lot.
Thank you, sir. That was very helpful.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Myself, Rahul.
Yes, sir.
Sir, currently in India, we are talking about the flattening of the normal curve. But if you see the European countries and all, they have almost flattened the normal curve. Now again, it is rising.
Correct.
But in the case of India, now it is started declining. My question is whether it is actually a normal distribution or any other multimodal distribution.
Actually, it's not a normal distribution. You can see, as you said, in Europe, today's newspaper also you can see they are in France and Spain, they are starting night curfews, all these things. The number of cases are increasing. So the real normality we cannot achieve. Even India also, he said, start declining, but it's not the proper trend. We don't know when it's going to start growing again. So I don't think it's a normal distribution is not there. I don't think so.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So, moreover, data available, the public domain data available, we should take the data and see what is the proper distribution of this current data. That's what we have to do. That's what I said. We have a lot of, there's a vital role to play in this situation.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Good morning. This is Dr. Vipin.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you very much for the talk, sir. Sir, I have one doubt because
Yes.
most of the forecasting or a prediction problem regarding this COVID-19 is not focused on the SCIR model, right, sir? Most of the research papers are including this model, SIR model or a SCIR model. Can you hear me properly, sir? Yeah, my question is regarding, sir, most of the predictions or the forecasting regarding this COVID-19 cases or the recovered cases or the infected cases due to COVID-19 is based on the SCIR model or a SIR model. Most of the research papers are showing this result. But my question, like you said in your presentation, it is more better to work on or doing a prediction on the proportion or the rate, right, sir? Because count won't give you an actual good prediction because it always goes wrong.
Yeah.
That is what majority of the studies are showing. So my question, if you're focusing on the prediction with respect to the proportion or rate, which rate we should focus as an applied epidemiologist or applied biostatistician? Because case fatality rate, prevalence ratio, a lot of rates are there, right? So I request you kindly give your inputs on this question.
Okay, very good. Always we should use the rate according to the situation. For example, you want to know the crude, how many total cases are happening. So then no need to go for that standardization. Our interest is only how much total cases are there. But if you want to compare something, you want to compare with respect to one country to the other country, the absolute number will not give any idea, and the rate also will not give any idea. But then in that situation, you have to go for the standardization as well. So many prediction models, I'm not very sure about the models what they have used, but still many prediction model, if they use the rate or only the absolute number means is actually wrong. But if you go for rate, something is better. But something is better means for the getting the number of cases is fine. But for the comparison purpose, if you go, that will not give the appropriate thing. That's my view.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, we have one question in the chat box. Lakshmi Ravindran was asked how to standardize the data mentioned in the comparison of two data. What are methods are using for standardization?
So coming to standardization, we can use the two different ways we can use. One is what is called direct standardization, other one is what is called indirect standardization. For example, I'll take an example for age. I'm going to compare the data from India or data from US as well. Two countries are there. What I do is I'll take the age distribution of the Indian population and the US population. Then I'll take the world population structure is available. World population structure is available. What I do, I'll convert the US population as world is equal. They transform the US population to the world population structure and India population to the world population structure. Then what happens? You have two populations. India population is there, US population is there. Both the population are now comparable because I converted that into world population structure. So then what you can do, then you can calculate the rate. That way you can calculate the standardization. That's actually the direct method of standardization. So indirect way also you can see if you have the depth rate, but this is actually most places you use the direct way of standardization. So here, the other way also you can do, if the world population structure is already available. Otherwise, what do you do is you convert that into Indian population into the US population structure. Then you compare that to, or otherwise US population structure to Indian population structure. Then you compare. This way you can compare the different rates. Is it clear?
Thank you.
It's Lakshmi, I think, right?
Yeah, it was Lakshmi.
Okay.
If no questions, we can conclude the session.
Just one last question. This is Prashant here, Dr. Jaydevan. So I have one
Yes.
question to you. This is something regarding, you have mentioned about the number of reported cases in the developed countries to the underdeveloped countries. And you have mentioned that the number of cases reported in the underdeveloped countries is very less when compared to that of the developed countries. And the mortality rate is also different. So is it something, so what I mean to say that, have you ever got an opportunity to look at the population density in these two different regions? Because I have a hunch that this is also correlated to the population density as well.
Yeah, of course. That's a very good observation. The density of population right now, I didn't look into the density of population. That may be one of the reasons. Urban area, the chances of spread is more. But the my data, which I showed, is not related to the attack rate. It's related to what is that? Case fatality, I think. Case fatality, I think. Okay. This observation is good. Maybe you can work on that and see, because the density of population also must be available in the data set. You can go and see that one. I didn't check that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if no more questions, we can conclude. I sincerely convey my gratitude to Dr. Jaydevan on behalf of our Stats Club and all the participants. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a valuable session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sure. I would like to invite Dr. C.G. Sriranganath for coordinating the panel discussion. Dr. Sriranganath?
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. Hi all. So we can move to our next session. As Mahesh was pointing out, the purpose of this our Stats Club and the purpose of these kind of meetings is to ensure that we are just communicated and we get the right resource person at the right time to get some knowledge or some insights on these topics and these kind of resources what we have. So moving on to my task, like we are going to have our panel discussion. We have a panelist, Prashant VP, who is a manager at Biostatistics IQVA Kochi, and then Sridevi Menon, who is manager at Statistical Programming Clinipace Trivandrum, and Samil Jaber, senior analyst at Business Analytics, Signa Insurance, Dubai. Hope I pronounce it correct. And Vivek TV, he's a lead ML developer, Clearia.ai at Trivandrum. So these are our panelists for today. So they will be mainly giving some insights and scopes in the relevant areas which they work, and they are ready to share their knowledge and walk through us through the work that they do, or give many more insights on them. So please, so for mainly for the participants, please utilize as much as you can so that we can get the maximum from them, because they are being I hope so maybe they will be sharing their knowledge, like from starting itself, right from their education, and then moving on to the field, like the applied field which they have been working from for so many years. So they have seen many of the ups and downs in their life. Like why I say, because I have been hearing about these people's, like whenever we get to these field as we are statistician, these are some of the persons who are working in this area for some time, right from their after their education. So they know the difficulties from a small state like Kerala, how they can move to these types of jobs and stick over there, and what all difficulties they will face, and how we can get away with that obstacles. So that is the most thing which we should get, I think, at this time, because so many of us, even though completing our means graduation or post graduation in these subjects, we may face so many difficulties, and we are still in some of the roadblocks. How to face this is one of the questions before us. So so that we thought of getting these type of a group, so that they can give many insights on them to move forward. So so I shall invite starting like Prashant Dardan to start with. Hi Prashant Dardan, could you just briefly mention about thing, and like which area you are working in, and how after your education and from where you have completed the MSc, and like the way you come over here and do these things.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the brief introduction. So once again, myself, Prashant. I did my MSc and MTech both from Kochi University of Science and Technology. MSc in the year 1996-98 batch, and MTech after 2 years gap in 2000. And after completion of my MSc and MTech, from the career perspective, I was actually struggling a bit, because at that time there were not much opportunities, even after completing post graduation as well as two post graduations, back to back. The market was not wide open for statisticians. So, for some reasons, so luck plays a major role in one's life, right? So, somebody suggested me to do a PG diploma course in computer application. So, after completing this one, I also did a PG diploma in computer application that actually really helped me. And finally, I started working as an investigator in the department of CUSAT itself. But it didn't last for a long, though it was a permanent position, but there was some ban due to somebody filed a case in the High Court. I don't know what happened to that. So then I realized that my career, there is a block over there. Then I started exploring. So the primarily idea is to see, is there any prospects outside, overseas, or outside Kerala, like Bangalore, Madras, and all. Finally, I ended up in one place called.
Excuse me, Prashant Dardan. If you don't mind, could you switch on your camera, turn on your camera, so that we can see you, or something like that?
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then finally I went to Hyderabad and I joined one institute called ICRISAT. ICRISAT stands for International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics. It is a quasi-UN organization, means it is governed by World Bank, World Health Organization, and the United Nations itself. And I had the privilege to work over there around 5 years as a scientific officer in biometrics and bioinformatics unit. So from 2003 onwards, actually my career started. Though before that, I worked as a teacher, as a lecturer in a college, as an investigator in the university, as a statistician in the CDT, Center for Development of Image Technology in Trivandrum. But as a statistician, my career started from ICRISAT. Then I realized that there are a lot of opportunities for statisticians in the agriculture field, wherein which if you go to any agriculture publications and all, without the consent of any statistician, you can't do the publications. Then crop physiology department, any department, these people definitely will come to a statistician for the expert opinion, starting from the design of experiments to the analysis. And I got numerous opportunities in helping working with the statisticians, the scientists, and publishing a lot of papers in the international journals as well. But for some reason, my career didn't set. Then I moved to an industry that is into a tobacco industry. It's called Alliance One International. So they are one of the biggest giants in like what they call it is that they are the biggest merchants of tobacco. They collect tobacco from different farmers. They process it. Then after that, they sell this tobacco to Philip Morris or Japan Tobacco Company or British um, American Tobacco Company. So then Philip Morris will bring you back as Marlboro. Japan Tobacco Company will bring you back as Camel, etc. So these are the non-brands. Probably if you are ever smoked or ever knew about this, and it is a very lucrative industry. And in business, so and ICRISAT, as I mentioned, I was working primarily in the agriculture domain, where in which the design of experiments is starting from the basic RCBD experiment design to alpha lattice design. And I also got the opportunity to work with marker-assisted breeding to identify the candidate genes which are responsible for certain traits. So that aspect was entirely different. When it comes to this tobacco sector, it is something related to two aspects. One is in the production front, you need to check the quality of the tobacco, the outgoing product. Okay, so they will be processing the tobacco. They will get a tobacco. In India, if you look at it, they get a tobacco from Mysore, they get a tobacco from Guntur, and different other parts of the our India. Even within India, the tobacco that comes to the warehouse will have different qualities. Some farmers, they will use endosulfan. Some farmers, they will use cyflomethrine. So these are like a kind of, as you know, endosulfan for Keralites, they know very well about the adverse effects of these kind of chemicals being used. Then you could imagine that what happens if you smoke the tobacco that is being treated with these kind of high degree chemicals. So when they do this processing in the factory, they primarily check two aspects. What is the percentage of contamination? Contamination in the sense that the percentage of chemical content in the green tobacco, and what is the how much it has been reduced or to the